Welcome to Caveman Capital, where ancient logic solves modern finance. I am Ogg, your guide to survival in the wild world of money. Today, we have a story that starts deep in the freezing mud, but ends with more mammoth meat than one caveman can ever carry. It's a story of struggle, of survival, and of finding a way out of the darkest of caves. I remember when I had to share a cave with a toxic mate. It was a nightmare, always fighting, always on edge. And then, one day I found myself thrown out into the dangerous jungle with nothing but my flint tool and a few berries to survive. I had to retreat to a broken, leaking shelter in my parents' hunting territory. It was a hollow log, but it was home. I had to accept it like it was just part of life. But it was hard, oh so hard. The leaking log, the freezing rain, the constant struggle to find food. It was a never-ending battle. But I couldn't stay there forever. I had to find a way out, a way to survive. So I started looking for a new tribe, a new family. And that's when I found it. A tribe that was hiring for the worst job in the valley, smashing heavy volcanic stones in the blistering heat with no shade. It was a brutal job, but it was a job, and I needed it. I needed the food, the shelter, the security. So I took the job, and I started working. It was a brutal quarry, a phase of pure exhaustion. I worked massive shifts, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I was crying from exhaustion. My body was screaming for rest. But I couldn't give up. I had to keep going. I had to survive. And then something changed. I started to get used to it. I started to adapt. My body got stronger. My mind got tougher. I was still exhausted, but I was managing. And then the tribe took notice. They saw my strength, my determination, and they promoted me. I was no longer just a tool, cleaner. I was a regular hunter. I was smashing those stones, making tools, making weapons. I was contributing to the tribe. I was a part of something bigger than myself. And the tribe rewarded me. They gave me more food, more shelter, more security. I was finally starting to feel like I belonged. I was finally starting to feel like I was home. But it wasn't easy. It was still a struggle. The work was hard, the hours were long. But I was doing it, I was surviving. And then, something amazing happened. I got promoted again, I became a regular hunter. I was earning massive amounts of resource rewards. I was bringing home the mammoth meat. I was no longer just surviving, I was thriving. I was finally able to walk into the trading posts without even looking at the price tags. I knew I could buy whatever I wanted. I knew I had the resources. It was a feeling of freedom, a feeling of security. It was a sudden wealth phase, and it was overwhelming. I was eating whatever I wanted. I was feasting on the finest meats. I was no longer just surviving, I was living. I was finally able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I was finally able to relax. I was no longer worried about where my next meal was coming from. I was no longer worried about my shelter. I was secure, I was safe, and it was an amazing feeling, an incredible feeling. I was on top of the world. I was the king of the jungle. I was the one who had made it. I was the one who had survived. And I knew that I could do it again. I knew that I could overcome any obstacle. I was no longer just a caveman. I was a force to be reckoned with. So, what can you learn from my story? What can you take away from my journey? It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You see, surviving a shithole grind can completely rewrite your financial destiny. It's not about being the strongest. It's not about being the smartest. It's about being determined. It's about being resilient. It's about getting back up no matter how many times you're knocked down. So here's my 3-step action plan, my blueprint for success. First, find your tribe, find your family. Find the people who will support you. Find the people who will help you survive. Second, find your skill, find your talent. Find what you're good at, find what you love. And third, don't give up. Keep pushing, keep grinding. Because if I can do it, if I can survive the leaky hollow log, the brutal quarry, and the shithel grind, then you can too. Wait, before we continue, listen close. Ogg is a caveman, not a tribal elder financial advisor. This is for entertainment, not advice. Do your own research, or you might end up with no berries for winter. Be careful, be wise. If Ogg helped you understand your cave a little better today, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe at Caveman Capital. We hunt for financial freedom, one rock at a time. Together, we can survive anything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video!